excuse me. But morning, everybody. Well, afternoon now. Well, some of you who watch this, it might be morning. Got a bevy of news today. And I'm like, man, some of this is just crazy. One of these is a really old murder case that I remember happening back in, I think, 2015. Yeah, 2015. I'll give you the title right quick. It's from NBC News. South Carolina woman who wondered how family's killer could live with yourself is arrested in 2015 quadruple homicide. Now, for those of you who don't know what it seems like, what are you saying? A family was killed back in 2015. Amy Villardi and her husband, Ross Villardi, are both accused of killing Kathy Scott, 60, Mike Scott, 59, Barbara Scott, 80, and Violet Taylor, 82, on Halloween night of 2015 in the victim's Refuge Road home in Pendleton. Yeah. Authorities said each victim had at least one gunshot, officials said at the time. Kathy Scott was Amy Villardi's mother, and Violet Taylor was her grandmother. Mike Scott was the husband of Kathy Scott and son of Barbara Scott. Amy Villardi called 911 on November 2nd after discovering the gruesome crime scene, authorities said. So they were shot and killed on Halloween night. Then what? You come back 30th, 31st, 1, 2. You literally come back in 2 days later? Oh, man, that's a gruesome sight. Just days after the murder, she told NBC affiliate of YFF Greenville, South Carolina, that she had difficulty shaking the memory of finding the bodies. When I went to knock on the back door, the door just pushed open. So I walked in and it was dark, and I flipped on the light, and there they were. They were there. She added, I don't understand why any of this has happened, and I just keep thinking it's a dream I'm going to wake up from. Whoever did this, I don't see how you can live with yourself. Now Villadari and her husband are both charged with 4 counts of murder. They were arrested Friday at their Columbia home, and a judge ordered them held without bail on Saturday. This is a case that has rocked our community, our county extremely hard, Anderson County Sheriff Chad McBride told reporters on Friday. We tried to keep it at the forefront of the media and the public's awareness and knowledge. The suspects were not represented by attorneys during Saturday's court appearance, and it wasn't clear if they had hired or been assigned defense lawyers by Monday, a sheriff's department spokesperson said. McBride thanks the victims' loved ones for their patience over the years as his detectives worked on the cold case. Now, I remember hearing about this years ago when it happened, and people were wondering if some type of nut job, like the guy in the Scream mask, was wandering around just randomly killing elderly people. And even though Anderson County is a good distance away from where I live, still, I mean, that, you're like, oh man, is somebody going to be like, do you let your kids out on Halloween? Do you protect their elderly on Halloween now that you got some nut job running around killing people? It doesn't make any sense. Now we're supposedly finding out that the police have arrested basically the granddaughter and her husband, who was also involved in the murder. Basically, they're 2 sets of family. As to why, nobody knows why. They're not giving out a whole bunch of information as to the motivations of this. But I remember the woman coming on TV, why would someone do this? Why? I mean, this is like, look it up, folks. I'm sorry, but it's just, this is like Susan Smith on steroids. Okay? Those who don't know who Susan Smith is. Susan Smith, South Carolina, look her up. I'm not going to go too deep into that because That's a long damn time ago. I was in high school when that happened, I think. All right, next story. Hey, HB, if you happen to see this one. Okay. Once again, from Fox 29 Philadelphia. Philadelphia LGBTQ plus activist Kendall Stevens charged in rape of 2 minors. Sources. Monday, December 18th. Philadelphia, an LGBT blah 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 has been charged with raping 2 minors after previously being victim to a violent assault in 2020. Okay, wait a minute. Let me read this again. An LGBTQ plus activist in the Philadelphia community, has been charged with raping 2 minors after previously being victim to a violent assault in 2020. Now, I'm looking at the picture here. This is obviously a trans-wamen raping 2 minors. Now, before anybody says I'm defending somebody, I'm putting it out there in this form or fashion. What is the definition of rape? It can be just about anything when it comes down to minors nowadays. Digital, you get what I'm saying. Officials say Kendall's 37 was arrested and charged with rape charged with rape, involuntary assault, obscenity to minors, corruption of minors, unlawful assault to minors, and involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, which means, okay, if you're trans and you haven't completely transed yourself, this means that any type of intercourse you perform is considered a form of deviancy. Also, it can mean, since they're not giving the gender of the 2 minors, and they're most likely male, and yeah. No. Okay, so let's keep on moving. Stevens is the same woman. Stevens is the same trans person who survived a brutal hate crime in her Point Breeze home on August 24th, 2020, in which the attacker, Tynesha Waring, pleaded guilty to aggravated assault and conspiracy. Okay. Now, there was actually a link to a YouTube video, where apparently, I clicked on the link and I watched the YouTube video. They were going over the death of a young journalist, freelance journalist. And for some reason, Stevens was there talking about how nice the guy was. He was shot dead inside his own home somehow. And nobody had figured out. I didn't watch the whole video because I was like, this doesn't make sense. I thought they would be talking about the case. But apparently the guy who was shot and killed covered her story. His story. Now, this thing about Tynesha Waring, according to DA, Waring was sentenced to 11.5 to 23 months of house arrest, with no parole eligibility until 18 months of home confinement, as well as 120 hours of community service, a letter of apology to Stevens, and the completion of court-monitored anger management program. So now, why in the world would they give her that much time? Hate crime. Oh, okay, yeah, hate crime. That's why. Now, they've got another video here where it only says 21 seconds. Okay. Some of the charges Stevens faces include rape, assault against a person less than 13 years old, and endangering the welfare of children. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I don't know if I want to play it. Oh, well, now I can't play it. It somehow just got stuck. Somehow repeat something. Oh, well, whatever. This is just... Oh, and they got another one where a Wyoming teacher was arrested for... I'm scrolling down. Wyoming area teacher arrested on corruption of minors charges. And another 1 minute and 42-second video. We're going to skip. But now you know what's going on. Jesus Christ. The trannies and the pedos are everywhere, man. And they're all over the kids. They're all over the kids. It's just crazy. Now, some of you may remember this one. Teens convicted in Linda Fricky case. Or is it Fricky or Fricky? Let's say it's Fricky. Case to stay in adult prison according to court ruling. New Orleans WGNO. 3 teenage girls convicted in the 2022 fatal carjacking of Linda Fricky will stay in an adult women's prison, according to a court ruling. Guess who these 3 girls are? Black. I'll just go ahead and say it, black. At a Monday hearing, a judge said the teens will continue to be held at Jetson Correctional Center in Baker. Now, this is in New Orleans. Since the teenagers' arrival, the state has temporarily moved 18 women to Angola to make room for the teenagers to be housed separately from the adult women. Good idea. As required by federal and state policy. The teens, Brianna, or let's say Brianna. Yeah, Brianna. It's spelled B-R-I-N-I. So let's say Brianna Baker, 17. Marquelle Curtis, 16. Linria Theophile, 16. Were convicted of fatally carjacking Fricky in the Mid-City area on March 21st, 2022. On November 20th, they accepted a plea deal for the charge of attempted murder. The 4th teen convicted in the case, John Honro, was found guilty of second-degree murder by unanimous jury on November 2027. So there were, because of teenage girls. That's why there's this story here. That's why they're saying teens convicted. Okay, so you had 3 girls, all under the age of 18, and a 4th male who, I guess he was the one who did the shooting himself. Second-degree murder. Fricky's husband has since decided to continue his lawsuit against the parents of the convicted teens. Wow. Man, that's crazy. And we got another little bit of news right here that you guys might be interested in too. Google paying $700 million to settle antitrust allegations with the states. $700 million. It's like maybe that is a drop in the bucket, maybe not. We'll look into that later. That sounds interesting. Yes, it does. Celine Dion's sister says that last week Dion's sister, Claudette Dion, said the Grammy winner doesn't have control of her muscles. She has a what they call stiff person syndrome. It's quite literally a disease that seems to attack certain parts of the muscles in the body and causes them to be stiff, rigid, or hard to control. But apparently Celine Dion has been out of, she had a tour going on and then finally just stopped. And this is because she's had this problem. Now, I really like Celine Dion. This is one of the reasons why I really like her. So when I saw the story on Yahoo, I was like, ooh, she done got old and kind of haggard looking over the years. But still, she's got a wonderful voice. It's sad that that's happening to her. The disease, it's supposed to be some form of autoimmune disease, but you can deal with it with certain medications. But like anything else, like one of these diseases, it just eventually gets worse and worse and worse. So there's that. Let's see. Interesting. TikTokers are sick of manicured wellness content and now crave mischief. Put it bluntly, because the story is like 3 paragraphs. Basically, everybody's tired of the good girl stuff and the wellness trend and stuff like that that's been going on TikTok since 2021. Now they want to see videos of people being lazy, being silly, being divisive. They want to see people acting more normal. As the report says here, according to a trend report from Global Insight consultancy Verve, V-E-R-V-E, Verve, whatever. Members of Gen Z, of course, are pushing against expectations of productivity and polished perfection to embrace a messier, more chaotic style. In other words, it's cool to be mischievous. No. Social media users embraced Rat Girl Summer and Feral Girl Fall. What the fuck? I never heard of this shit. But a desire for messiness and true authenticity surpassed mere seasons of impishness. No. What they want is true authenticity, not makeup, caked on, perfectly manicured, all of this crap. But messiness? Nobody wants to see some chick standing around in a shitty, messy room, belching and farting, going, oh, yeah, you know, my life's not perfect, but I think it's okay for you to be a little, you know, it's all part of your self-care routine to let yourself go. Don't nobody want to see that shit. I don't want to see that shit. Even though I don't have TikTok. It'll eventually appear on YouTube. Okay, last one here. Mexico to challenge Texas's new inhumane migration law. President says. Okay, let's see how this goes. I haven't read this one yet. Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. Man, can you make this guy's name any fucking fancier? Shit. Hey, we just call our guy Joe Biden. What the fuck, man? On Tuesday, we're just going to call this guy Obrador because I ain't going through all that shit. On Tuesday, said his government was preparing to challenge a new Texas law allowing state law enforcement to arrest suspected migrants, which he called inhumane. Okay, first of all, let's see who wrote this. Reuters. And I don't know who wrote it, but it's just on Reuters. Okay. What this should say, illegal migrants, suspected illegal migrants. So if you're in the country illegally, the state police should have already said, that should have already been a thing. You should have already been able to say, hey, yeah, we can arrest you if you're here in the country illegally. Excuse me. On Monday, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, signed the law giving local officers powers long delegated to the U.S. government. Wait a minute, local? So that means even in town, I think. In small towns, that would really help. Migrants who enter the United States illegally can already be charged with illegal entry or illegal re-entry under federal laws. But the governor of the border state has criticized what he calls U.S. President Joe Biden's failure to enforce them. Abbott has launched a crackdown on illegal immigration in recent years under the name Operation Lone Star, rolling out the National Guard and concerta wire along the border. Concertina? Whatever. Some type of new barbed wire along the border and installing a floating barrier in a stretch of the Rio Grande. Mexico's president, a leftist, often criticized Republican Abbott, as well as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, also a Republican, in his morning press conferences. He has urged Mexican Americans not to vote for either. Well, unless they've been here in the fucking country long goddamn enough, they ain't voting at all. You dumb chuckle fuck. The foreign ministry is already working on the process to challenge this law. Bitch, you can't challenge shit. We provide for you. You need to shut your fucking mouth. This motherfucker is like he gonna challenge us? Bitch, we give you money. We take care of your drug problem. All sorts of shit for you. You need to shut the hell up. This is what happens when you have a demented old man in office. People start thinking they can do whatever they want in foreign countries. Abbott wants to win popularity with these measures, but he is not going to win anything. But he'll lose favor because in Texas there are so many Mexicans and migrants, the president added. Maybe that's why Abbott's getting rid of all of them. I don't know. That could be it. I wonder what the comments are on this. Well, that's it for that story. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is just freaking ridiculous, guys. It really is. Absolute crazy. Well, this video's gone over 20 minutes now. 20 minutes and 10 seconds and counting. Man, I'm enjoying this. I really enjoyed doing a long form video. Okay, we're going to do another video on this Google challenge right here. Let's look it up. Let me look at it right quick when the story came out. December 19th, updated December 19th. Today is December 19th. So yeah, we're going to do another video on that after I read up on it and everything and upload this video. All right then, folks. Talk with y'all later.